Okay, if we could have your attention, please. We are now joined by Blake Koch, driver of the number 11 LeafFilter Gutter Protection Chevrolet for Colleague Racing. Blake, congratulations. A bit of an underdog and for what some may consider a smaller team. So can you just talk a little bit about your race tonight and the opportunity in the chase moving forward?
Yeah, it's well, it was huge just to make the chase. So like after Chicago, I just felt a huge relief that we accomplished our goals. So, you know, going into the chase, we just kind of had nothing to lose because there's no expectations on me or our race team, and it's been able to pay off with some good, consistent finishes. So, but consistency, I don't think is what's going to transfer into the Final Four. I think we're going to have to turn it up a notch, and but I feel like we even have. We had a pretty good car tonight. In this last couple of weeks, we've been racing against cars we haven't raced with all year. So I'm extremely proud of my team and proud of this series, and making it so new teams can start up and be competitive like this is pretty cool.
I think it's the beard.
The beard. You got yours coming back.
I know.
Hey, when I said I was going to start this chase beard, I didn't really know I was going to make it to the next round. It's going to be like an 8-week beard.
Keep it going.
Okay, we're also joined by driver the number 6 Leidos Ford for Roush Fenway Racing, Bubba Wallace. Bubba, congratulations on making it to the round of 8. Can you just also talk a little bit about your race tonight and your outlook for the chase moving forward?
Yeah, first of all, congrats to Blake. Like you said, small teams making it through and new teams starting up. It's a pretty big accomplishment, so congrats, buddy. For us, man, and everybody says just have a good, solid race. We were, I think, 10 points to the good. And that was not a good solid race for us from the start. Ran into the back of the 48 there. I don't know if they were playing games on the restart or what, or I was sleeping, probably a mixture of both, more of me sleeping, and just ran into the back of them and got damaged. So we were pretty far behind from the start of the race, but I felt like our car wasn't too bad on that first run, but after that I was hanging on for dear life, so went 3 laps down there, just knew we were out of it, but going into it, I was trying not to worry too much about the points until my spotter, who knows me like the back of my hand, he just said one word or a couple words, just we need this spot bad, and he left it at that. So we had to dig for it on that last restart, so that put us in by 1 point apparently, but just got to work hard. You know, our Leidos group never gave up all day. I think we all had plenty of thoughts in our head of just trying to get by and go home and forget this race and go on to next week. But we can do that now, but know that we're going into the next round is pretty good.
Okay, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We will get a microphone to you. Okay, we'll start here in the back, first on the end and then to the right.
Barry, Richmond, Piedmont Broadcasting, WAKG. Darrell, this may be more focused toward you. With the chase being implemented now in the Xfinity series and, of course, your experience in the truck series, do you really think it steps up the competition? And you talked about maybe the 2 weeks of downtime. Is that something that will be a welcome rest or something that will be added stress?
Oh, that's the $1 million question right there. I'm going to try to relax, take a little vacay, but still focus on the big picture, knowing that we still got to work for it. You know, we got Kansas to kick off the next round, so that's big. So hopefully it's kind of like Kentucky, smooth, fast. We had a good car there. I was out running that one car, so that was pretty good until he won the race. I know, but we'll see. I mean, it's good that we reset and we kind of get to relax now. You know, tensions get high, and I'll tell you 100 times, I'm not worried about points, but I don't know if it gets a little bug in the back of your head. Everything kind of intensifies and magnifies to added pressure, and you don't even know it until you get out of the car. And for me, I was just really bummed out about the race. But when they said you made it in by 1 point, I kind of wanted to shed a little tear and 2 thumbs up, like my man here. So that was pretty big for us. But we'll definitely throw this race away and refocus on the next one.
Okay, we are also joined by our runner-up finisher, Elliott Sadler, driver of the number 1 OneMain Financial Chevrolet for Junior Motorsports. Elliott, congratulations. Firmly on the chase grid for the round of 8, so if you could just talk about your race tonight and your outlook heading into the rest of the chase.
Yeah, I really wanted to win this race. It's anytime I get to run this pink race car, it's very sentimental to me and my family. you know, my mom wasn't able to be here this weekend because still recovering. And all I could think about those last 7 or 8 laps when me and Joy and Kyle had kind of got away from everybody, was hoping that those two would race pretty hard with each other and leave the door open. So we were able to get by Kyle and make it to Joy, and just wasn't able to win the race. So all in all, a great race for us. It just shows how hard my team really works, kept working on the car, and man, when the sun went down, that thing took off. So just really wanted to win this race. But all in all, a great first round. We had a first, second, and a seventh, which is really consistent. And we've got some really good cars. They've been sitting in the shop for about a month, ready to go for the second round. So we can't wait to get to Kansas and put our best foot forward. But how we battled and fought tonight gives us a little momentum, I think, going into next week.
Great. Okay, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Okay, right in the back.
Jacob Seelman, Race Chaser Online and Performance Motorsports Network. I've got one for Blake and one for Bubba. Blake, as far as your guys, the colleague team being a startup this year, and this chase format, as you've alluded to a couple of times this year, you know, it gives you guys a chance. What does this change for you guys making the round of 8? How does this not only buoy the team going forward for the rest of this season, but what does it change for you guys going in and building for next year, whether it's race cars, potential sponsorships? This has to be huge for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it helps a ton when you have a sponsor like LeafFilter Gutter Protection that is on, you know, backing you up and is committed to a multi-year deal. You can just focus on the future and not so much on today. And you know, that's huge in our sports to have a good loyal sponsor. But I'm not too sure what it feels like yet because it just happened. I know when Chicago was over, it was a big relief, like we achieved our goals and kind of the season was over, and everything else was icing on the cake. And now this happens, so now there's really no pressure. We're just gonna go out there and try to get better. I'm gonna try to get better every single week, make our cars drive better, and also, you know, just focus on just making everything continuing to improve, because if you're not going forward, you're backwards, and that's what Matt Colleague tells us all the time.
Hey, can I add to that? I don't think you guys understand what kind of feat that Blake and those guys made. I mean, they were moving into their shop the first week of Dover in May, and then to make the final 8, I think Blake and his guys' startup team kind of flew under the radar at the beginning of the season, but got better and better and better, and he and Chris, I think, did a whale of a job in the first round. But I think that's definitely the biggest story of the first round is Blake and his guys making the second round. To been, you know, the kind of startup team they went through, and where Blake came from last year to this year. I mean, congratulations, guys. But that to me is job well done from such a small team and to get started. So you guys did a great job. I just hope you guys understand what kind of feat they really made to compete against a lot of Cup affiliated teams to make it to where they're at.
Thank you, Elliott. Appreciate it.
Bubba, as far as your day, I know this, as you alluded to a minute ago, absolutely was not what you wanted or what you needed. And to be 3-4 laps down, but knowing you still have a chance at it, you scrape in by the skin of your teeth. How deep did you have to dig on that last run when you were back and knew, if only I can pick up one spot, we're in this, we're moving on?
Yeah, you know, like I said, spotter we need that spot bad. So let's give it your best restart. And Mom always said there's going to be hard days in front of the good ones. So those only make you stronger. So we have to, you know, use it and use it as a little bit of motivation, knowing that we can do better and go on to Kansas and try to do a lot better than what we did today. But man, that was fun trying to, you know, put it all on the line. And, you know, for that chase format, that just shows you what you got to do, and you can't slack off on one restart. And the door opened up for us, and we had to jump on it, go a top of 3 or 4 wide, and do what you got to do. There was thoughts of doing more to the 44 to get in, so it just worked out in our favor.
Go ahead with your next question.
Yes, Barry Richmond, WAKG. This is for Elliott. With your experience as a veteran Cup driver and then the success that you've demonstrated with Junior Motorsports here in the Xfinity Series, it seems like that since the announcement of the extended contract and with this chase format, it's just made you guys shine and maybe really step it up. Can you just talk about that a little bit?
He's shining from his gray hair.
I love being Bubba's teammate last year. He always made sure I was in check each and every week. From an experience standpoint, I get asked that question all the time. I don't think it's a big deal in racing. It's not like I'm a veteran quarterback that can read the defenses better than a rookie quarterback can. I mean, all these guys can drive. And I just think it's being in the right situation at the right time. As far as my team is concerned, I think OneMain coming back definitely gave us a boost because we all stopped worrying about what our future was going to be, and we know we're going to be together for a while. And we could start concentrating on our racing, and we had some good cars we knew that we were building, getting ready for the chase to start, and I think that helped us as well. But all in all, I mean, I wish I could tell you it's me. And it's just me, but it's not. I just got a really good race team with a great crew chief, and the biggest thing we're, I think, doing better than what we were doing at the beginning of the season is our communication. We're finishing each other's sentences. We know what adjustments we think we need to make during the race to make our cars better. And I think maybe that's the only thing the experience helps me with is what adjustments to make to my car, and we're definitely on the same page. But as far as like the chase format and racing at these tracks, all of these guys, young or however old they are, can do just as good a job as we can. They're all fast. It's just communicating at the right time, especially during the race, I think makes the difference.
Any final questions? Okay, we'll take our last question back here.
Elliott, Rents Brown, Race Chaser Online. It seems like this year is more of a resurgence that you've had in even recent years. Talk to me a little bit about just the confidence you have coming in here, because this is one of those things where you seem to have the confidence for a while and it just seemed to taper off, and now it just seems like you're really giving it a good punch.
Yeah, I just think we got a good team, and I mean, it's no magic, it's nothing special. It's just I got a really good team, a really good environment. I think Dale and Kelly being racers and grew up in the racing industry, and it starts with the top. Any guys ever been to their shop and see how everybody acts? It's just like a big overgrown late model team that's supposed to race on the weekends, and we just having fun and racing in the Xfinity series. There's no pressure, just everybody's on the same boat. I mean, you guys watch that JRM 360? That's what it's like at the shop all the time. Everybody's relaxed, and I mean, every time I go, I have to take an extra pair of clothes because you never know what's going to happen while you're at the shop. But I think being in that relaxed environment, because I've been on the other side of the fence with teams that are so uptight and the pressure's so bad, and they want to know Monday morning, doggone it, we're going to have a meeting and we're going to find out why we ran as bad as we ran. And that just gets everybody on pins and needles, and we just don't have that. We just cut your mic off, Bo. So anyway, I just think it starts with the top with great owners and trickles down through, but we're very relaxed. We have a lot of confidence. I think on ovals, other than running out of gas at Daytona and wrecking in Charlotte here in the spring, our worst finish is 7th last week at Dover since April on ovals. So we've been very consistent, very fast, and I just think it comes from a very relaxed way of looking at it.
Okay, we have one final question in the press box. Go ahead, Chris. Chris, can you repeat your question, please?
Yeah, for any of the drivers that want to answer, I was just curious if there was a second round wildcard race. The consensus was the Kentucky Speedway won in the first round.
Man, I think all of them are wild cards. I mean, you look at the Cup race today. You don't really count Charlotte as a wild card, but you had 5 or 6 chasers that all had problems. So anything can happen. You know, we can be running up front at Kansas and you know, blow a tire, blow a motor. You know, anything can happen to anybody. So you just hope you have good karma going into these next 3 to get you to the next round.
Any final questions? Okay, gentlemen, congratulations. Good luck next week. Okay, if we could have your attention, please. We are now joined by our winners of the 35th Annual Drive for the Cure 300 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Joey Logano, Brian Wilson, and Mike Nelson. So, gentlemen, congratulations. This is Joey's 27th win in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and second in 2016. So, Joey, if you could just open up with some comments about your race tonight.
Yeah, what a fun night for sure. Good recovery from the first part of my day. So I feel a lot better than I did, I don't know, about 3 or 4 hours ago when I tried to knock down the wall. So feel better now. Obviously a great PBG Mustang. Brian Wilson put together a great team from the kind of picking and choosing a bunch of people from the race shop, and it's a lot of fun because you got guys that have been racing for years, and some it was their first race this weekend. So it's a fun mix to be a part of and to come out here and race with nothing to lose. And we had a good car, maybe not the best car out there, but we had a good enough car that we can make something happen with. And we stayed on a lead lap on that long run, and Pickery did their job by keeping us in position to make a awesome restart at the end, and kind of an all or nothing move, and be able to get the lead and ultimately hold them off to get the checkered flag. So a lot of fun to be able to do that, and like I said, a lot better way to end the day than the way it started.
Okay, if you have a question for Joey or Crew Chief Brian Wilson or Vice President of Operations Mike Nelson, please raise your hand and we will get a microphone to you. Okay, we'll start up here in the front.
Zach Tanzwitty, fun stretch. Just mentally and physically, running 800 miles in one day. The first race was difficult, had some troubles, but mentally and physically, what was it like today out there on the track?
I'm okay. I didn't run the full 800 miles. I sat in the garage for about 100, I think. So my neck feels it from knocking down the wall, but besides that, I feel good. My arms are in good shape. I tried to prepare myself the best I can for today, knowing what I had ahead of me, and I feel good. I feel like car drove good. If the car was that bad, I'd have a hard time trying to keep up with it. But I think trying to do this at Dover last week would have been very challenging. After a cup race at Dover, usually you're pretty tired. But here at a mile and a half, a little bit bigger racetrack, you have a little bit of straightaways to relax for a little bit. I think gives your body enough to get through it. Mentally, I'm shot. I've had a long enough day that I'm kind of used up. But overall, I got everything I had to get out of it. So.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Bob.
Joe, you talked about kind of a mentally long day. I was curious during the cup race how your emotions were, in the sense of, I talked to Harvick and he said he went to sleep and he woke up and he had gained about 20 points on eighth. You were actually out there. I mean, did you feel better at the end of the cup race than you did while you were sitting in the garage?
Yeah, I feel better about it. My team did a good job fighting to get back out there, and I think we gained 2 points by doing that, and that could be the difference when it's all said and done. So did a good job getting back out there, and really we were, I think, 3 or 4 laps from being able to pass about 4 cars, which would have been nice. But right now I think we're 6 points out. I think it's what I was told before I started this race. And, we're going to quite possibly our best racetrack. I think Charlotte and Kansas are our 2 best racetracks. So I felt very confident going into this round, and I had a very good car today. So I'm looking forward to getting to Kansas and seeing what we got and seeing if we can break through to get a win. But if not, a solid points day, I think we can manage with what we got, but we can't afford to make any mistakes. And with Talladega coming up and with a for sure unknown, you never know what's going to happen. So if we can break through and get a win, we'll feel a lot better.
Brian, Joey mentioned
that's
that.
That's my family out there. Yes, we're all loud and obnoxious. Yes. We all have one.
Brian, Joey mentioned that it was the first win for several members of your team. So could you just talk a little bit about what that means to your organization?
Well, obviously we use the Xfinity Series to develop a lot of crew members. So we've got a lot of young guys, whether it's on the pit crew or the mechanics. and for myself included, I'm trying to develop as a crew chief. So for everybody, it's extremely exciting. For some of us, it's pretty relieving to get a win, but it definitely is the reason why we have this program at Penske.
Mike, could you share a few thoughts on the same thing as well?
Yeah, well, there's one good thing is Brian Wilson's first win as an Xfinity crew chief, so happy to see him get that after his long tenure with us at Team Penske, so very proud of him for that. And I saw a lot of new faces, guys that haven't been with us for a long time that have got a chance to get in victory lane. It was good to get PPG in victory lane as well, so really proud of the effort out of this team, and they never gave up all day long.
Okay, additional questions, please raise your hand. Okay, we'll take another one here in the back and then come back up front to Mike.
Jacob Seelman, Race Chaser Online. Actually got kind of a two-parter for you, Joey. That last restart, where did that run come from? I mean, with the way the 42 just had everybody's number all day, where did you dig to find that run and be able to slow him up just enough to clear him there in turn 3?
You know, the first start of the race, the initial start, I started third, and Larson was in front of me, and I could have made the move then, and I thought, man, it's be really dumb to do this the first lap of the race. So I knew I had that move in my back pocket. So when the caution came out and I saw I was third, I liked my position, and I said, well, now's the time to do it. You know, and then we were going down the back stretch 3 wide, and it was kind of a game of chicken, to be honest with you. Who's going to lift first? And I was not going to be the first one to lift. I knew that. It's, you know, I was driving the car with nothing to lose, so I'm going to drive like I got nothing to lose. And it worked out fairly well to be able to drive off in there and keep him on my quarter. And eventually, you know, we both made the turn, but I was able to kill enough of his momentum to get out in front of him. And then the race was on. You know, he started running the top and catching me. And I was like, oh boy, what do I was getting confused. I almost keyed up and asked, like, what should I do? Because I was like, I was faster on the bottom, and I knew that. But I saw that he was making so much speed up top. I was like, maybe I need to move up top and just slow him down. But I think he got into the wall a little bit. That gave me enough of a cushion to be able to hold off the one at the end. So I'm glad it didn't come down to that, because it was going to be a crazy race at the end, trying to hold each other off. And it's something Kyle and I have done quite a few times, even here at Charlotte. I think of earlier this year in the All-Star race. We've raced for the win here a lot. He's very fast here at this racetrack. He's got the top figured out very well. You know, so it's kind of a fun race, because it's kind of top versus bottom, and you know, you kind of see how it turns out. So it's fun to race against him. Obviously, I'll be racing against him the rest of my career, but it's a lot of fun.
Your 2 wins in this series this season, they've both come in this 12 car. You've been in both the 12 and the 22 and been close and close and close, and that 22 just can't quite get to victory lane. Is there anything that you felt, having driven both cars this season, that's been different, or has it just come down to circumstances and bad luck?
Well, I think, you know, something that I think is very special today is that we won on an oval, and it's something that, you know, it's no secret that Team Penske's been struggling with this year on the Xfinity side, is that a mile-and-a-half program, or even our short track stuff, hasn't been as fast as it needs to be. We won on a road course earlier this year, and that's a road course. That's a different game. But you know, to answer your question between the 12 and the 22, you know, the cars, and Mike can speak to this probably even better than me, but the cars start off the same. You know, when they leave the shop, they're the same. And then obviously we'll put our setups in and change it a little bit from there. And Roger probably says it the best, is you both get 9 irons, and you can, it's up to you on how you want to grip the club, you know, and that's kind of how our setups go. And so, you know, the cars start the same. We're able to work on them differently, and you know, I think, you know, circumstances have worked out pretty well with the 12 car. When we've had opportunities to win, we've won. You know, and I think that's something that's fun to do with this group of guys. But the 22 teams has made great strides as well. You know, both our cars were up there towards the end of the race. You know, and I think if you look at kind of where we were earlier this year to where we've been the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 races, that the speed's coming back. And so it's fun to be a part of that, to see it kind of make the turn and stop the bleeding, and now we're starting to move forward again and to break through. And you guys well know as much as anybody, but when you're able to get a win and get that momentum, the Xfinity side of Team Penske needed something like this, a nice pick-me-up. And the pit crew today that pitted the 12 car is normally the 22 Xfinity pit crew. So to see all of them in victory lane, it's a big confidence booster for all of them. So a lot of good things came from this.
Next question from Mike.
Mike Neff from frontstretch.com. This is probably more for Mike and Brian than for Joey. Last year, y'all had 8 wins out of the Xfinity Series. This year, this is your second one, and as Joey mentioned, first on the oval. Hendrick folks were in here earlier today talking about how they had to approach their turnaround over the summer to find their speed and get to where they're at now. Can you give us anything without giving away industry secrets of what you focused on or how you went about getting these cars to where they're now back up running for wins in the Xfinity Series?
Yeah, it's just in the details. It's typically when you get behind, it's never one glaring thing. So, we've worked on a lot of things, and it's all areas from the engine side to the bodies to the setups to the details of how we go about the race weekend. So it's really just been a lot of little things that we've done, and we still have a little ways to go, but I feel like we're on the right track.
Yeah, I think I would echo exactly what Nelson said there. We really had to focus on the details. I think the races where we've had 2 cars has definitely helped us. Being able to have double the information throughout a weekend, so a weekend like this is very important. And then coming back to tracks the second time around with all the rule changes in the off season, that doesn't hurt ever. We showed up with a setup that was very close to the first race, and really it was just basics and just working on the car and making the handling better to where I don't feel like we had the best car tonight, but we certainly were in position, and obviously Joey was able to have a great restart. So it's just kind of getting that momentum and working on the details.
Any questions from the press box? Okay, we'll take our last question back here.
Rents Brown, Race Chaser Online, the Performance Motorsports Network. Brian, congratulations on your first win, by the way. Can you just talk to me a little bit about how Charlotte, which is probably one of the harder tracks when it comes to setting up a car and keeping the car adjusted through a race, can you talk to me about how the balance needs to be almost perfect at a track like this to keep someone like Joey or anyone in that car up front?
Yeah, Charlotte definitely throws everybody a curveball, especially when you expect it to be a night race and then it ends up being a day race after a Cup race. There was a lot more rubber on the track than what we normally see in an Xfinity race, so there were a lot of variables there. After the Cup race, I debriefed with Joey for a while, tried to get a feel for where the track had gone. And then even at the start of the race, we were not where we needed to be. Every stop we had to work on the car all the way through. So Charlotte always is a challenge, especially when you start off and you're not very close, and then you know that at the end of the race it's going to be dark. So there's quite a few challenges tonight, and I'm not going to say that we nailed it perfect, but by the end we were good. We were in the ballpark on handling, and obviously good enough to be able to get the win.
Okay, any final questions? All right, gentlemen, congratulations. Thanks for coming in.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Congrats, thank you.